lot of you guys are looking at the wrong metrics on your performance ads. What if I told you that CPMs, click-through rates, cost per clicks don't matter at all? I've worked with 30 plus different e-commerce businesses, from huge 9-figure giants to sub $1 million businesses, to create high-performing ad campaigns. And we have a special analyzing framework to determine which ad campaigns are actually performing better than others and to know why that is the case. And this magical framework is so that you can actually make business decisions quickly without getting into analysis paralysis. So my name is Camilo. I own a performance ads agency called Epic Ads Lab, and we delivered ad creatives for brands like Adobe, CapCut, Remington. I've been a UGC creator myself on my other YouTube channel that has over 150,000 subscribers. But a lot of the work that we do is actually making sure that we not only deliver good quality ad creatives for our clients, but they know how to actually understand the analytics so that they can make good financial decisions. So at the end of this video, you'll know what metrics actually matter and which ones don't, so that you don't get confused and you focus on needle movers in the business. And if you stay until the end, I'm going to show you the exact ad account setup that's going to help you see this information very clearly. So with that being said, let us begin. So here are some common metrics that people analyze but shouldn't be your primary key performance indicators. So we'll start with cost per click. So cost per click is basically how much on average each link click is costing you, right? I see a lot of old school media buyers, old school e-commerce store owners focus so much on what does it cost for us to get the click? And really and truly, this doesn't really matter unless you're focusing on lead generation or you're focusing on Google ad campaigns. There's other way more important things than this. The next is click-through rate. Now, click-through rate is a measure of how many times users clicked on your ad after it's being displayed to them. Now, click-through rate is actually an important KPI. However, people seem to always look at the wrong click-through rate and they elevate the numbers on their campaigns thinking, oh yeah, we're getting like a 25% click-through rate, when really it's more like a 7%, or even worse, less than 1%. Next is CPMs, okay? Cost per mil. This is the price you pay for 1,000 impressions on your Facebook ads, okay? This is how much it costs for people to actually see your ad. And people look at me, they come to me and they're like, oh my God, Camilo, man, our CPMs are so high. This is really bad. Your ads are not performing. When actually CPMs are affected a lot by the industry, by your product, by your niche, not just the content itself. In fact, looking at CPMs is a lot of times things you can't really control. It basically depends on the audience that you're targeting, because this is essentially a factor as to how niche your product is. If you have a product that's super niche, like SaaS for moms that are looking to monitor their baby vitals between the ages of 7 months and 18 months, right? That SaaS right there at a price of $200 per month is so niche that your CPM will be so astronomically high than if it was something like baby bottles for toddlers, if you catch my drift. So why you shouldn't make business decisions solely on this? Because this depends on the industry you're in and not your ad. It's basically stuff that you yourself cannot control. For example, the finance industry versus the makeup industry have completely different CPMs, completely different cost per clicks, because these are affected by the industry itself. So this is the exact game plan that you need to follow and that your media buyers need to follow if you're running your own ad campaign. The first is you need to look at what the algorithm is pushing. Okay, Meta is smarter than you are. I'm just gonna say it knows a lot more than you do. Okay, the AI is very advanced, it's very modern. So you want to see what is the algorithm actually pushing. You want to look at where is the ad spend going? Where is Meta actually pushing it? Then you want to analyze the individual ads themselves, and I'm going to show you what to look for. And I just want to interrupt this message by letting you know about our swipe file of 1,200 plus high performing ad creatives. What we did is we went and we found 53 brands in 8 different industries, and we analyzed their top performing ads, and we created a massive swipe file document where you can access all of them so that you can see which ads actually convert. Not only that, we even added top hooks that we found really work inside that swipe file that you can access like this, so that you can hit your ad account with good ideas that you can test. I find that at the beginning stages, it is important to be unique and creative, but it's also important to look at what's working just to get your ad account moving and getting sales to your store. So to access that, click the first link in the description down below. Okay, so the primary KPIs, you typically look at these first. So that's the previous 7 or 30 days. You always want to look at stuff in a 7-day period, unless you're doing high spending like 150 $150, $2,000 a day. If you're looking at that, you can look at like the 4 to 7 range, but still 7 days, usually a good time. A whole week, Monday to Sunday, you're looking at all different levels of the market. So first things first that you want to look at in the super secret KPIs, one, what is the amount spent? Okay, how much was actually spent on the campaign, on the ad set, etc. So the ads with the most ad spent is usually the one that the algorithm favors most in the ad account. If we look at some ads that are tested, first thing you want to do is you want to organize it by amount spent. You can see which creative the algorithm is favoring more to give more spend to. Now, if you're doing this on a CBO campaign, a campaign budget optimization, then you want to look at which ad set that Meta is actually giving the ad spend to. So that's the first KPI that we look at. And then the second one that we look at is going to be the cost per purchase. So in this case, you can look at what's called cost per result. Now, cost per result really is so that you know as a store owner, whether it's costing you a lot to get that first customer. For example, if you're selling supplements that people buy on a recurrent basis, you want to make sure that your cost per result is low enough. You want to have a conversation with yourself to know, okay, am I willing to take a loss on that first purchase so that I get that first customer who will then pay me back in dividends with the subscription that they buy for later? If that's the case, then you should have a cost per result that is at least 1 times the cost of your average order value. If it's more than that, then great, you have a lot more to spend with. But you always want to make sure that you lower the cost per result, because the cheaper the cost per result, the cheaper that first customer is. If you have a luxury product like high-tech calculators, right, that cost $200 and somebody buys it once for their whole life, you need that cost per result to be less than probably half the cost of the price. And also you need to factor in the cost to manufacture it, the shipping costs, and all the other costs that you have in a big spreadsheet. So you definitely want to keep an eye on that. Now, sometimes what will happen is you have ads that will have more spend, some will have more purchases than others. But to understand why it happens, to understand what the reasons are for these ads working, is you need to look at the secondary KPIs. Now, here are the secondary KPIs. You want to analyze the why things are working. So in this case, we have hook rate, click-through rate, hold rate, comments for feedback, and then we combine them all. So let's get into that. So this is an account that we ran $10 a day ad spend on. We spent about $140. And we wanted to find out with my team why the videos weren't working. So we didn't get a single purchase, which usually is a red flag, especially because of the price of the product, the audience, etc. And because we know that it can get sales. So the first thing that I looked at was the click-through rate. In this case, we have a benchmark of at least 1%. So luckily, we're all above that. And the most important one is the link click-through rate, okay? The percentage of impressions that received a link click. You want people who actually clicked it. There's other click-through rates like click-through rate all and stuff. It's inaccurate. Just look at link click-through rates. And you can see that we had about 8 link clicks on this one, 6, 6, 3, 1. So not a lot. And yeah, our CPMs are pretty high. We're looking at that. But let's figure out why the video itself isn't doing well. So the next thing I'm going to look at is essentially the hook rate. Now, if you don't have the hook rate, you have something called 3-second plays, which gives you how many 3-second plays were there. But that's not very useful. So I'm going to show you exactly how you can build a hook rate if you don't have it. So you can see here, I have hook rate. If you search it and you don't have it, you have to make it yourself. So I go to custom metric and you want to select a metric, and that's going to be 3-second video plays. And you're going to divide that by impressions. So it's basically how many 3-second video plays occur per impression. And then you're going to, where it says format, you're going to put as a percentage. I'm going to call this hook rate 2. And you can see when we create the metric and we apply the metric, you can see here our actual hook rate is shown. This is more useful information. So what percentage of people from every impression watch the first 3 seconds? And you can see if we organize it, this one here, culprit V1, had the highest hook rate, but it had the second to last amount of link clicks, right? And also it had the second to last amount of ad spend. Therefore, even though it had a good hook, it wasn't the best at taking people to the website. So what we do is we can actually study the video, so we can watch the video and we can look at why is this hook good. So we look at the hook, we study it, and we think, okay, this hook is good, but why is it not taking people to it? Is it that the body is not good? Is it that the story changes? Is it that it's not very clear what the benefits are? Is it that there's no desire driver in this video? Okay, so that's what me and my team were doing yesterday. And so we decided that this one, even though it had a good hook, it wasn't clear enough. So we decided to turn it off. So we basically, that's the second metric that we look at. The next metric that we look at is actually the hold rate. So if you don't have it, you have to make it yourself again. And let me show you how to do it. So hold rate is very simple. It's just video plays at 50% divided by impressions. And when you make it, you can see this is how the percentage of people that watched up to 50% in the video. And you can see here, budget 3 had the highest, 13%, which means that this video is very good at holding attention. And it has the second highest hook. So this is a good creative to keep running and testing. Now, we basically make an adjustment based on these metrics because it tells us the whole story of the video, okay? Here, we don't have the ROAS or the cost per result to know why these videos aren't converting. And if you spend a few $100s on your ads and you're wondering, why are things not converting? This will tell you the exact story that you need to know. We have another ad set that we made with different ads. And you can see here, this one that actually got a purchase. The click-through rate was 7%, the hook rate was 48%, and the hold rate was 10%. So these are higher numbers than the others. And you can see there's another one that has pretty good stats, which means that it's a good creative. These creatives are arguably better than the other creatives that we had. Now, the next KPI that you can look at is only really useful when you have loads of views, is going to be the comments and interactions. So that's actual human beings giving you feedback on your videos. So what you can do is you can actually find an ad. You can go to this arrow here. You can go to Instagram post with comments, and it will show you the actual Instagram post. Now, this one only has 309 views, so you're not gonna see that many comments. So I would wait until you have a video with at least a few thousand views. If you look at this Castile soap video, there's loads of comments that we can use for objections. There's loads of comments that someone says, oh, I thought all soaps were alkaline. All this stuff is data for us to use as to, one, why somebody might choose not to purchase, or what someone really thinks about the product, and two, things that we probably can talk about as other benefits. Somebody might say, yeah, I like this because it was very good for XYZ reason, and then we can use that in our copy and in our other ads. Okay, so now I'm going to give you the exact ad account setup so that you get more precise information. Usually when you go on an ad account, you're going to have stuff like performance and clicks, engagement, all of that stuff is good, but I'm going to give you something that's a lot more easier to look at and gives you all the information at a glance. So what you're going to do is you're going to click here in columns, you're going to go to customize columns, and then you basically want to keep delivery, you want to keep attribution setting, you want to click keep results. We don't need reach, we don't need views, we keep frequency. Cost per result, we move up 1. Budget will move up 2 because you want to see what the budget was for that. Don't need ends, don't need schedule, don't need quality ranking, don't need engagement ranking, don't need conversion ranking. You can have CPMs if you want to see them. Link clicks you want to keep. Click-through rate, the only click-through rate we want is the link click-through rate, okay? Another click-through rate that is important to look at is unique outbound click-through rate, okay? So actually the best one to look at is unique outbound click-through rate. So I would do this one over any other click-through rate, and I will move this click-through rate just before frequency. I'm gonna get rid of clicks all, cost per click. And if you wanna see the cost per click so that you know what I mean, make sure they're link clicks. Okay, now, stuff we wanna add. We wanna add ROAS because everyone loves to see ROAS. We're gonna add ROAS, untick these two. I'm gonna move ROAS just after amount spent. Purchases, so we look at purchase value. So we're gonna click that, gonna turn all of these others off. I'm gonna move this up. So purchase conversion value, cost per result. Next, we're gonna add what's called a hook rate and a hold rate. If you don't have it here, if you don't have thumb stop ratio, all of that stuff, you need to make it yourself. So what I do is I'll do create custom metric. I'll click here where it says select metric. I'll do 3-second video plays divided by impressions. And then you make this format a percentage and you're gonna name it hook rate, okay? And then the next one you're gonna do is create a hold rate. So you're gonna search video plays at 50% divided by the impressions, and you're gonna name that a percentage, and it's gonna be hold rate. Now you can do something like comments, like post comments, so you can actually see them. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna add hook rate, hold rate towards the end, post comments towards the end. And now at a glance, when we apply this, we can clearly see this are the results. These are the purchase conversion. That's how much you've made. That's the cost per result. That's the unique outbound click-through rate. That's taking people out. The frequency is how many times these ads was shown to people. Ideally, you want to keep it at 1.0, but you know, amount spent and the ROAS, the impressions, the CPMs, the link clicks, the cost per clicks. And here you can see the hook rate and the hold rate. So we can see which ads have the best hook, which ads have the best hold rate. And you can see here which videos have comments. So that is how you organize your ad account. Okay, so now we covered what metrics you should be looking at into your ad account. If you're completely new to running ads in your ad account or UGC ads, I made a full UGC 101 guide so that you know how to find creators, what good UGC content looks like, what hooks to use, etc., so that you can actually go and start making some content and get more sales into your store. If you want us to make the creators for you, you can click the second link down below and that takes you to our website where you can apply to work with us. So I'll see you in the next video.